Being an outdoor lover and a swimmer, water sports, everything from jet skis to water skiing. I mean, honestly, I probably should have been a fish. You know, when I first became disabled, it was difficult. I did accept it, and when I did accept it, I decided it was time to get on with my life. Hi, I'm Wade Watts. I'm a mobility facilitator. We travel the world and work across Canada and trying to make the country and the world, especially our great outdoors, more accessible to everybody. Prior to the accident, I did many things in my life, but all of it was centered around construction, civil construction and public construction. You know, from my time in the military as a combat engineer to getting out of the military and working for a New Alliance, building bridges, gradients, you know, underpasses. And I got an offer to work on, you know, renewable energy, solar farms especially. And it was after the big super typhoon in the Philippines where I was sent to repair a solar farm that had been damaged. And they had nobody to go do this who would go there by themselves and rally the locals and get this thing back online because it was an emergency. So I said I would do it. And I went, and not only did I get it back and online, but I met my wife and fell in love with the Philippines and decided I wanted to go back and help even more. After one of the engineering meetings is when I had my fall, and is what put me in the wheelchair and has changed my life for what I do now as a mobility facilitator. This is a wheelchair, this is not a disability. You know, me not being able to use my legs is not a disability. In fact, there's never been a perfect human being born. So everybody has a disability of some form or another, right? A wheelchair is a mobility device. It's a freedom device. I like to tell people, it's no different than your running shoes, except it's a hell of a lot more expensive. Right? But it gets me from point A to point B. We are helping making not only our national, provincial, and municipal parks accessible, but tourism, everything from Canadian trails to the capital, to beaches, parks, and municipalities. That's what we do. So we go into a place and we say, this is what the problems are, this is why this is not an accessible or an inclusive place, and then we tell them how they can facilitate mobility, and by doing so, welcome everybody equally, regardless of their ability or age. A simple thing like going to the beach and getting from a vehicle to the water is now not only difficult, but almost impossible. I don't want to have 6 people carry me from my car to the water, so I'm just not going to go. And I found that, and even with going to pools and going, you know, doesn't matter where you go. Yeah, maybe I could throw myself out of my wheelchair to get in the pool, but then now how do I get out? But if we can get whole entire armies from an ocean across a beach to invade a country, why can't we get a wheelchair to the water? And that's where my fresh approach to accessibility comes from. It's looking at things differently. Right behind us, we have this beautiful airplane. How is it possible for a person in a wheelchair to actually look and see inside that airplane or look around? You could put a couple cameras inside that airplane that can't even be seen because cameras are so small now. And at one of the displays, just have a little tab where the camera is just showing what's inside the airplane. two things I learned in the beginning was, I was told this by who's now a very good friend of mine, but at the time he was just somebody I met. And he had been in a wheelchair a long time. He was hit by a drunk driver when he was 6 years old. And when I met him, he was in his 60s. And he told me, first thing, if I don't fall out of my wheelchair once a month, I'm not trying hard enough. And the second thing he told me was that just get on with your life and forget about everybody else. Check your dignity at the door, because your life has changed and people are going to look at you differently. Accept it, get on with it, and enjoy your life to the best of your ability, because you only get one. And regardless of how you get around the world, your life is your life and you must make the best of it. This is not a disability. This is becoming adaptive to the world that we live in and making my life as best as it can be, and that's it, nothing else.